23,690. That is the number of gambling messages researchers counted across just 6 games in a Premier League weekend back in 2024. That's 23,000 promotions, ads, and even betting logos. If you're curious, and I know you are, that works out to approximately 43 gambling cues every single minute you're watching the match. I need you to understand what's happening in football right now, because we're watching this transformation happen in real time, and most of us don't even realize how extreme it's gotten. We're talking about an industry that's embedded itself so deeply into the sport that it's fundamentally changing what the game means. Picture this, you sit down to watch your team play, you're hyped, but before kickoff even happens, you've already been hit with betting odds flashing across the screen, gambling logos on every shirt, ads during breaks. It wasn't always like this, and when you see the full picture, you'll understand why we need to talk about this now. So where does all the advertising come from? It's simple, just follow the money. A massive investigation dropped in March 2025 from Investigate Europe. They found that 2/3 of top flight clubs across 31 European leagues now have at least one gambling sponsor. But wait, it gets wilder. You see, every single English Premier League club had gambling partners in the 2024-25 season. They spent about $135 million just on shirt deals alone. That's not counting stadium advertising, sleeve patches, training kit sponsors, or any of the digital stuff. There is not a single team in the richest league in the world that you can watch without seeing a gambling company's logo. Not one. And I get it. Clubs need money. Modern football is an arms race. Wage bills are out of control, transfer fees are insane, and you're competing against state-owned and billionaire clubs with bottomless pockets. So when a betting company comes knocking with a check that's bigger than anyone else's offer, I understand the temptation. The Premier League voluntarily agreed to ban gambling logos from shirts starting in 2026. Sounds great, right? Job done? Except the betting companies just moved. They moved to sleeves, training kits. They bought entire media platforms that clubs use. One expert put it perfectly. Clubs are under such intense financial pressure that they'll take the richest deal regardless of where the money comes from. And it's not just the big leagues anymore. Smaller teams in emerging leagues are getting these deals too. Gambling money is flooding into every level of the sport. And what does that saturation buy you? Access to every single moment of every single match. You might be wondering, what does this actually look like when you're watching a game? Great question, audience. Let me walk you through it. Player takes a corner kick. There's a gambling logo on his sleeve. Camera cuts to the manager, a bookmaker's branding on the dugout behind him. The ball goes out for a throw-in, the LED board along the touchline scrolling a betting site. Remember that Bristol University study I mentioned at the beginning, the 23,000 plus messages in one weekend of 2024? The year before, in 2023, researchers counted roughly 11,000 gambling messages in an opening weekend. They described it as overwhelming and inescapable. And I mean, at what point does someone in a boardroom go, you know what, maybe we're overdoing it? Apparently never, because they nearly tripled it in 12 months. The part that should make you enraged a little, think about someone in recovery from gambling addiction. They just want to watch their team play, that's it. Maybe it's their escape, their community, the one thing that still brings them joy, but they can't even escape the triggers. Every shirt, every ad break, every graphic on the screen, it's all there, constantly reminding them of the thing they're trying to stay away from. There is no escape. But the industry will tell you this is actually good, that betting has become part of the fan experience. A Deloitte survey found about 30% of younger sports fans bet on games annually, and bettors are more likely to attend matches and buy merchandise. See, that's more engagement right there. Except that's like saying cigarette companies made people more social because they gather outside to smoke. And it's not just the fans who are drowning in this. The players themselves, the ones we watch every week, they're falling too. Ivan Toney, 8-month ban for gambling violations. And here's the thing about Toney's situation that should make you angry. He was playing for Brentford in a league where every single team has gambling partners. His own shirt had a betting logo on it. The stadium he walked into every day had betting ads everywhere. His own teammates were doing interviews in front of bookmaker backdrops. He was literally swimming in gambling messaging every single day of his professional life. He was in an environment designed to normalize gambling. And when he develops a problem, when the addiction that this environment helps create takes hold, he gets banned. punished, made an example out of. Think about what recovery looks like. You've admitted you have a problem, you're in therapy, you're trying to stay clean, and then you have to go to work. How do you recover when your workplace is the thing that you're addicted to? How is that even possible? Sandro Tonali in Italy, 10-month ban. At Newcastle, he faced the identical trap. Both have spoken publicly about their struggles and underwent therapy as part of their comeback. Tony and Tonali aren't outliers. In Italy, 13 players were named in a single April 2025 probe, including US international Weston McKennie. The PFA reports a surge in players seeking help. This is not a few isolated cases. This is an epidemic. We built a system that creates gambling addicts and then punishes them for existing. And if professional athletes with millions of dollars in support systems are falling into this trap, what do you think is happening to the youth? Picture a high school kid, 16 years old. He's watching a game with his friends and one of them pulls out his phone and says, "Yo, I just hit on a parlay, turned 20 bucks into 100. He shows his phone around and everyone's impressed. It looks easy and fun, and it looks like he's just more engaged with the game, almost like he gets it in a way that the others don't. So that 16-year-old downloads the app. The age verification? Psh, please. Check a box that says you're over 18. That's it. Within 5 minutes, he places his first bet. And it wins. Of course it wins the first time. That's how they hook you. The algorithm knows. Give them a taste of victory and they'll keep coming back. A Guardian investigation in December 2023 warned that the US is headed toward a quagmire, if not crisis, of youth gambling addiction. One study asked 40 random 17-year-olds, kids who cannot legally gamble in most places, if they had a sports betting app. 36 of them did. That's 90%. Just sit on that number for a second. 9 out of 10 teenagers surveyed had gambling apps ready to go on the same phone they use for everything else. It's not access to some shady casino across town. It's on the same device they use to watch TikTok, text their friends, do their homework. Gambling is just another app, sandwiched between Instagram and Spotify. It's extremely normalized by proximity and it's purposely designed to feel like entertainment, not addiction. What makes this especially more frustrating is that these are kids whose brains are still developing. Their impulse control isn't fully formed. They're currently hardwired to take risks and seek peer approval. The gambling industry knows this. They know that if they can hook someone at 16 or 17, they've potentially got a customer, or more accurately, an addict for life. The crisis is already here. US sports betting hit $147 billion in 2024, a 23.6% increase in just 1 year. Virginia saw helpline calls surge nearly 1,000% in 4 years. I don't know about you, but that does not scream trend to me. That's an emergency. Young men aged 18 to 20, they're hitting gambling problem rates around 10%, which is more than triple the national average. By the time they're old enough to legally drink, 1 in 10 already has a gambling problem. It feels like there is a massive, uncontrolled experiment on an entire generation being conducted. Kids are being hooked on gambling before they're old enough to understand the consequences. The teaching is, the way to engage with sports isn't with passion or community, it's about having money on the line. Public health experts are screaming about this, and some politicians are even calling for regulation. And what is the industry's response? Bet responsibly. like putting that phrase in fine print at the bottom of an ad somehow absolves them. It's like telling a 16-year-old with a gambling app on the same phone they use for everything else to just show some restraint. An entire generation's mental health and financial future is being sacrificed so gambling companies can post record profits. We see the harm, we see the data, we see the kids struggling, but it continues anyways because the money's just too good. I know I've been pretty heated about all this, but I've been sitting with this research for a few days and yeah, it bothers me. The researchers who did that study at Bristol didn't just document the problem, they actually made some recommendations. I'll go ahead and list the study in the description of this video. And it's worth to note that some places are trying things with varying degrees of success. Italy banned gambling ads during daytime TV. Belgium made it so that you just can't download an app and start betting in 5 minutes, you actually have to register in person. And Spain has heavily restricted when and how this can be advertised. The Premier League's shirt ban in 2026, it's something, but it feels like treating a symptom when the disease is much deeper. There's been an economy that's been built where clubs are too financially desperate to say no to gambling money, even when they see the harm. What I keep coming back to are the players trying to recover while swimming in betting ads, those youth with gambling apps, and those dire statistics. I just think we can do better than this, right? Look, I don't have all the answers. By no means am I a policy expert, but I know what football means to millions of people, including me, and I think we're in danger of losing something essential, not to some external threat, but something we let in. So I guess the question is, are we okay with where this is headed, or are we going to push back? I'd love to know what you think. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.